On the surface, TFD is almost like any other looter shooter, taking clear inspiration from other TPS RPG grindfests like Destiny and Borderlands, using much the same looting and social structures as Destiny with its tower-like social nexus, and many gameplay and story arc inspirations from Borderlands, as well as even some anime themes from things like Ghost in the Shell, Sailor Moon, and Neon Genesis Evangelion, just to name a few. It's easy to write it off as just another gratuitous gotcha with enough TNA to put any 13-year-old into a coma, but today I would like to take a deep dive into the surprisingly rich history and well-developed lore that Nexon has crafted for this next-gen looter shooter. I am the Bloodlust, and this is the lore behind the First Descendant and the apocalypse that brought humanity to the brink of extinction. Please leave a comment, drop a like, and follow for more. The first thing we need to cover in order to understand what really happened behind the fall of humanity is that the apocalypse in the First Descendant was not a singular event, but a cascading series of catastrophes triggered by the arrival of two alien forces, the Vulgus and the Colossi, who appeared through dimensional gates on the planet Ingris. This invasion marked the collapse of human civilization and sets the stage for the game's post-apocalyptic struggle. Before the gates opened, Ingris was a thriving human colony, advanced enough to sustain a large population, but not so advanced as to rival the Ancestors, an ancient human civilization hinted to have once wielded godlike technology and power. The existence of the Ironheart, an enigmatic infinite energy source buried on Ingris, suggests the planet held secrets even its inhabitants didn't fully understand. This hidden relic, believed to hold the power to alter the world, possibly even reality, would become the linchpin of the apocalypse, drawing interstellar and even interdimensional attention to an otherwise unremarkable world. The apocalypse began with the sudden appearance of dimensional gates, rifts in space-time that connected Ingris to unknown regions of the universe. Through these portals emerged the Vulgus, an alien race characterized by their ruthless pragmatism and a desperate need for survival. However, the Vulgus are not mindless destroyers. Their invasion is a calculated campaign to seize the Ironheart, which they believe can save their dying empire. Their arrival is swift and brutal. As cities fall, populations are decimated, and human resistances crumble under the weight of their superior technology and numbers. The Vulgus brought with them a hierarchy of forces, foot soldiers, commanders like Karel, a key figure in the Vulgus Invasion, as well as one of the motivators in their campaign for the Ironheart, and the Magisters, a scientific elite whose role in the invasion initially aligned with their empire's goals, until their search for power outweighed their thirst for enlightenment. The Vulgus did not aim to eradicate humanity outright, but rather to subjugate it, viewing humans as insignificant obstacles in their quest for the Ironheart. This cold, utilitarian approach amplified the horror of the apocalypse. Humanity wasn't even worth annihilating, just trampling. As if the Vulgus weren't enough, the dimensional gates would soon also unleash the Colossi, towering biomechanical monstrosities drawn to Ingris by the Ironheart's unique energy frequencies. Unlike the Vulgus, the Colossi lack clear intent or known communication. They are simply forces of nature, embodying raw, emotionless destruction. Their origins are murky, but the cryptic reports suggest they are cursed or bound to the Ironheart in some metaphysical way, compelled to seek them out regardless of the consequences. The Colossi's arrival escalated the apocalypse into a full-blown extinction event. Where the Vulgus waged war with strategy and intent, the Colossi brought chaos, leveling landscapes, crushing settlements, and leaving nothing but rubble in their wake. Their presence turns Ingris into a fractured hellscape, with humanity caught between the Vulgus' calculated aggression and the Colossi's indiscriminate wrath. The dual nature of this invasion, alien intellect versus alien instinct, creates a uniquely bleak outlook for the future of Ingris and its peoples. The combined onslaught of the Vulgus and the Colossi shattered human society on Ingris. Within a short span of likely years rather than decades, civilization as it was known ceased to exist. Cities became ruins, governments dissolved, and survivors scattered into pockets of resistance or hiding. Currently available data does not specify exact timelines or human casualty figures, though recent updates do imply a conflict raging for over a century. Regardless, the implication is clear. Humanity was reduced to a fraction of its former strength, teetering on the edge of oblivion. This collapse isn't just physical, but existential. The Ironheart, once a buried mystery, becomes a symbol of humanity's downfall. Its existence invited the invaders, yet it remains beyond humanity's grasp. The loss of agency, coupled with the overwhelming power of the enemy, paints a grim picture of an apocalypse where hope seems futile. The apocalypse reaches its darkest hour when the Magisters, a rogue faction of Vulgus scientists, defect from their empire. Disillusioned, or perhaps guided by their own agenda, they turn to humanity as an ally. Using their advanced knowledge, they unlock the arche within certain humans, a latent genetic trait tied to the ancestors. This breakthrough births the Descendants, superhuman warriors capable of wielding physical and magical powers enhanced by Magister tech. The Descendants mark the shift from total annihilation to desperate survival. They don't reverse the apocalypse, but carve out a fragile foothold for humanity. The establishment of Albion, a fortified stronghold, becomes the last bastion of human resistance, a flickering light in the post-apocalyptic darkness. Now, over a century after the initial invasion, the apocalypse scars define Ingris. The planet is a patchwork of wastelands, contested zones, and Vulgus-controlled territories. The Colossi roam as persistent threats, while the Vulgus, under Corell's leadership, press their campaign for the Ironheart. Humanity survives in Albion and scattered outposts, reliant on the Descendants to hold the line. The apocalypse isn't a static event in history, it is an ongoing nightmare, demanding the attention of every waking moment spent by the remnants of humanity. The dimensional gates remain a looming mystery, their purpose and origins unresolved. The Ironheart's power tantalizes all factions, promising salvation or domination, yet it eludes everyone. The Colossi's cryptic curse subtly hints at deeper cosmic forces at play, possibly tied to the ancestors, whose legacy haunts the Descendants like a ghost. The apocalypse in the First Descendant is a story of hubris, survival, and the cost of power. The Ironheart, a relic of the ancestors, suggests humanity's ancient ambition may have sown the seeds of its own destruction. The Vulgus and Colossi, though alien, mirror human flaws, greed, desperation, and uncontrollable force. The Descendants embody a bittersweet redemption, their strength born from betrayal and loss. This deep dive reveals an apocalypse that's both a cataclysmic event and a persistent state of being. Ingris isn't just a world that fell, it's a world still falling, where every battle pushes back the inevitable, or possibly hastens its arrival. For the player, stepping into this as a Descendant means grappling with a legacy of ruin, and the faint hope of rewriting that fate. this concludes part 1 of our deep dive of the rich history behind the First Descendant. If you like the content, again, please drop a like, leave a comment, most importantly share, and subscribe or follow for the next installment. Trust in the Bloodlust.